What we're going to do today, we're going to test out Agentic AI to see if it can do some auditing. And so I have prepared some fictitious client documentation to test out whether Agentic AI can actually document accounts receivable testing. So let's just see what documentation we are going to prepare. So as you can see, we have the accounts receivable aging for the various customers. I've only done the 30 days just to make it easier. Also, what I've done in the working paper is made it easy for the Agentic AI to complete the right column. So the first part is the expectation is that it's just going to look at the accounts receivable confirms. And these other columns here, what they're going to look at is the cash journal and then do a preliminary conclusion for each customer balance. In terms of what we have for the confirm, so we have this confirm here, which is correct. So that's one scenario we're going to test. Now this one here, confirm letter 2, well, we're going to test it to see what happens if it's too high. Then as you can expect, we're going to also see what happens when it's too low. They owe another $50,000. And then this one here is actually to see if it can read an image file. So if you have different kind of formats, so we test out if it can read PDFs, and then the other one is can it actually scan an image file. And then here what we have is the actual cash receipts journal. So this would be to the subsequent receipts testing. And I purposely also have left a couple that are neither confirmed nor tested through subsequent receipts to see how it handles that information. And as you can see, I've selected the spreadsheet category for the agent to use. And what I've done is also I have a detailed prompt that will guide the agent exactly what to do. And I have a previous post where I tested out in a custom GPT this same test, but here we're going to see if the agent can just do everything all at once. Okay, so it appears to be done. Let's see how the agent completed the working paper. So we can see with the first one, as noted at the outset, there was no difference. So it was confirmed, no exceptions, and that was the testing conclusion. With the second one, it picked up the correct amount from the confirm, understood that the customer reported the balance was lower than the client's record, and then it says further procedures required to reconcile the difference. This one here, the customer reported more, and we can see that there was 50,000 more it had to report. It did fine on the image file as well, confirm no exception. So for the subsequent receipt, it was supposed to test Goose and Hawk. So the total payments received for Goose and Hawk, we can see here. Let's just total those up. So for Goose, it should have calculated 200,000, and for Hawk, it should have calculated 200,000. But for Goose, it has to add that up first. So let's see how that fared. So we can see that the amount for Goose was 300,000, 200,000. It has correctly added it up, and we have an unconfirmed amount of 100,000. For Hawk, the amount received was 200,000. The balance was 2.5 million, and we can see that the balance unconfirmed was 2.3 million. And it has correctly noted that we have not received subsequent receipts or a confirmation for IBIS and J. So it didn't just randomly put out there. And you can see the conclusions that it has are accurate as well. So it has spelled out in words what is there in terms of the mathematics. So we can see that in this a simple test that Agentic AI was able to document this accounts receivable testing. I'd hope that it would have moved the amounts from this column into here as well, but it has kept it disaggregated, even though the instructions said otherwise. But you can see that overall, this kind of mechanical test, it has passed from an Agentic AI perspective. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.
Timesheets. Do I really need to fill that out while I work at superhuman speeds? I could have completed more testing in the time it took to find the charge code.